Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're cracking open a really fascinating concept, a business idea that looks like pure luxury, yes, but it's actually built to solve some pretty deep-seated stress points in relationships.
That's exactly right. It's quite strategic when you look closely. We're exploring this Win Masterplan idea, originally called Perfect Seat, but we've kind of taken to calling it the Moment Architect.
Catchy name.
It is, and it's this high potential concept that really grew out of just watching people, observing human behavior under pressure, especially around romance and big moments. The whole aim is flawless execution to reduce that relationship friction.
And the backstory gives it, well, a lot of weight, doesn't it? Our source connects this to a Munkat Kandwan Kumsap, someone with, what, 16 years of consulting experience, both family and business stuff?
16 years, yeah. So this wasn't some flash in the pan idea. It was something distilled from nearly 2 decades of seeing where things go wrong for people.
What exactly was the observation, the thing that sparked this?
Well, it was this recurring theme he noticed. He'd be hired for financial strategy, business problems, but so often, the real root cause, the thing making the business wobble, was stress at home. Specifically, his insight was that money matters in the home often lead to family problems.
Ah, okay. So fixing the business meant looking at the relationship foundation too.
Exactly. You couldn't really stabilize one without the other. So the moment architect is basically taking that insight and turning it into a service. Recognizing that relationship maintenance, especially these high stakes moments, is actually a really high value service people might pay for.
Okay, so that's our mission for this deep dive then. We're not just looking at a fancy date planner, we're examining it as a strategic business, filling a maybe surprisingly large market gap.
Right. We want to show you exactly how this service takes something incredibly stressful, planning a really important date, and turns it into something seamless, personal, and crucially guaranteed to go right.
And we think this is valuable, whether you're, say, an entrepreneur sniffing out opportunities in that whole experience economy thing, or honestly, even if you just appreciate a really well-oiled, detailed service.
Yeah, lean in on this one. We think there are some really actionable insights here about business innovation, how premium services work, and maybe even a little bit about managing emotional risk.
Okay, let's get into the core problem first. Why is planning a big romantic date often so
Yeah.
awful?
Yeah.
It should be fun, right? Anticipation.
It should be. But the core pain point they're targeting is that intense pressure, the feeling that this has to be perfect, especially for those really significant moments.
You mean like proposals, big anniversaries?
Exactly. Or even, and this is a critical one, a reconciliation date. Trying to fix things after a fight. The stakes there are just sky high. Failure isn't just a bad night out. It could actually make things worse.
And the planning itself,
Yeah.
it often lands squarely on one person's shoulders. doesn't it? The source mentioned it stops feeling like fun prep and just becomes work.
Totally. Hours scrolling endless restaurant reviews, trying to figure out if the pictures are real, checking availability, comparing menus, juggling schedules. It's exhausting administrative labor.
It really is. It becomes this like low-value, high-stress grind.
And think about who might use this service. Often people with decent money, but whose time is the most precious thing they have. Spending, say, 3 nights researching the perfect quiet corner table, that's a massive opportunity cost for them. They'd gladly pay to avoid that headache.
Right. But okay, let's say they do put in the time. They do the research. They still face that huge risk you mentioned, the reviews that don't match reality.
Oh, absolutely. We've all seen it, right? Those stunning Instagram shots promising the ultimate romantic setting, candles, views, perfection.
And then you get there.
And maybe it's next to a super loud party, or the lighting's like a hospital waiting room,
Yep.
or the music, which looks so classy online, is just blaring. You can't even talk.
Ugh. Or the worst, the service is just off,
Mm.
rushed, distracted, doesn't care.
And boom, the moment you built up in your head for weeks just evaporates. And it feels like your fault as the planner, even though you tried. It undermines the whole point.
So much effort for such a potentially poor return. But hang on, couldn't a really good PA or maybe a high-end travel concierge handle booking a nice restaurant? What's the specific skill the moment architect claims to have?
That's the absolute key difference. A concierge books a table, maybe arranges a car. The architect manages the emotional logistics. They're thinking ahead to all the little operational things that can completely derail the feeling of the date.
Like what specifically?
Well, unexpected cancellations, for one. You booked the perfect table, confirmed it twice, then you show up and, oops, double booked. Or the place had a sudden kitchen issue and had to close early.
Disaster. Okay, what else?
Personal curveballs, maybe an allergy comes up that wasn't mentioned before. Suddenly there's this awkward, lengthy back and forth with the kitchen staff totally killing the mood. That stress shifts from planning to the actual moment.
Right, right. That's definitely happened.
And then there's the classic, the flugged surprise. This is where the architect really earns their keep, separating them from, well, amateurs.
How so?
The planner might have spent ages figuring out the exact moment the cake should arrive, or when the violinist should play that song, or how the gift is presented. But the venue staff, they're busy. They mess up the timing, forget the cue, bring the wrong thing.
Oh, God, the magical moment just deflates into awkwardness.
Yeah.
Or worse, just chaos.
Exactly. And it often comes down to those missing details, the small things that elevate an evening from nice to truly memorable.
You mean like the flowers actually being on the table when you sit down, not arriving halfway through the starter?
Precisely that. Or the specific playlist you requested already playing softly when you arrive. Or that special anniversary drink appearing exactly when it should without you having to flag someone down.
When those details land perfectly, it feels seamless, effortless, like magic.
And deeply personal. But when they're missed, the whole thing feels generic, maybe rushed, incomplete. It reflects badly on the person who planned it, even if they tried really hard.
So the client gets wasted time, a ton of pressure beforehand, and then potentially a massive emotional letdown.
And that's why high-value clients, people who value their time and emotional outcomes, are willing to pay a significant premium to just outsource that entire bundle of risk.
Okay, so if that's the problem, risk, stress, logistical nightmares, the solution has to be the opposite. Control, assurance, total management.
That's the core philosophy, yes. It defines their unique value proposition. They're very clear. They aren't just booking tables.
They're architects who design and control every single element of the romantic moment. That's a powerful statement.
It's a shift, isn't it? From just providing a service to being a co-creator of the experience. They're selling intentional design and, importantly, guaranteed execution.
So how do they deliver on that guarantee? What's the actual process look like? They have a four-step thing, right?
Yes, a very structured end-to-end process designed specifically to take all that client anxiety we just talked about and turn it into a positive, lasting memory. It's about systematically mitigating those risks.
Let's walk through it. Step one.
Step one is absolutely critical, probably the most intensive, consultation, which they frame as deep listening and understanding. This isn't just what time and what kind of food.
Right. It's getting at the why, the emotional objective of this specific date.
Exactly. They need to know. Are we trying to reconcile after a big argument? Is this the proposal of a lifetime? Is it a first date where you want it to be impressive but still relaxed? They're almost like relationship profilers at this stage.
And gathering all the tiny details?
All of them. Budget, yes, but also the couple's style, their history together, shared jokes or preferences, music they both love, things they hate, any food issues, dietary
The
needs.
source even mentioned pets, being pet-friendly.
Which is crucial now, right? For so many couples, a truly stress-free experience has to accommodate the furry family member. They need to anticipate all potential complications.
Okay, so once they've gathered all that,
Yeah.
personal intelligence, that emotional data, what's next?
Step 2, curation and design. This is where the architect's expertise really comes into play. They take that raw data and shape it into a bespoke plan, what they call a personalized date blueprint.
A blueprint for the date. I like that.
And the foundation of that blueprint, the thing that makes it reliable, is their vetted network. This is their secret weapon, really.
Explain that. The vetted network.
It's their curated database of partners, restaurants, hotels, florists, drivers, unique activity providers that they have already thoroughly checked out and approved. These partners have met the architect's very high standards for service, privacy, consistency, quality.
So that directly tackles the reviews don't match reality problem.
Exactly. The client isn't gambling on some random Google review or a pretty Instagram feed. They're trusting a network that the firm has already done the hard work of vetting. That network is the guarantee.
Okay, blueprint approved, built on the vetted network. Step 3.
Step 3, coordination and execution. This is where all the behind-the-scenes magic happens, the stuff the client never, ever has to worry about. It's the detailed, often complex, logistical heavy lifting.
So not just calling the restaurant.
But way beyond that. It's negotiating for the best spot, that quiet corner table, the booth with the view, ensuring genuine privacy. It's pre-ordering special dishes, managing every single element of any surprise, coordinating musicians or photographers, arranging seamless, maybe even luxury transportation.
Sounds intense.
It is. And here's the really crucial bit, the part that truly justifies the premium price. They maintain direct, continuous contact with the key people at the venue, the manager, the head waiter, maybe even the chef,
Why is that so important?
to ensure those critical synchronized moments. We talked about the music cue, the ring presentation, the perfectly timed toast happen exactly as planned in the blueprint. Down to the second. They're basically the unseen director on the ground.
Got it. Which brings us to the final step.
Step 4. Confirmation and delivery. The big reveal for the client. But instead of getting a long to-do list, they receive a beautiful, complete itinerary. It details the stress-free, perfectly planned experience they're about to have.
And the final instruction is?
The best part. Their only remaining job is simply to bring their loved one and enjoy the moment. Everything else. Handled, anticipated, executed.
That's not just convenience, is it? That's peace of mind. That's buying back emotional energy.
It's a guaranteed emotional return on investment. That's the product.
Okay, so this level of bespoke service sounds amazing, but also potentially complex to manage as a business. How do they structure it? They can't build every single date from absolute scratch every time, can they?
No, that wouldn't be scalable. So while the feeling is hyper-personalized, ensuring no two dates feel the same, the structure is built around specialized service packages. And crucially, these packages are organized by the purpose of the date, its emotional weight, rather than just a price tier.
Interesting. Purpose-driven packages. Let's break those down. What's the first one?
The first date package. Seems simple, maybe, but first impressions are huge, right? Reducing that initial awkwardness is key.
So what's the focus here?
Safety, flow, and shared experience. They choose venues with a great, relaxed vibe, not too intense. They ensure travel is super easy, no stress there. And they always try to weave in a small, shared activity.
Like what kind of activity?
Could be anything low-key, a quick coffee tasting, maybe walking through a cool little gallery nearby, or even like an interactive dessert thing, something to create natural talking points, you know. Takes the pressure off constant conversation.
Smart. Okay, moving up the scale. What's next?
Next is probably the most delicate, the reconciliation package. You're basically selling the perfect environment for saying sorry and reconnecting.
Wow. Okay, what does that require?
Privacy is paramount, absolute guaranteed privacy, and a very warm, intimate, non-confrontational atmosphere, somewhere that feels safe for a vulnerable conversation.
And logistically?
Logistically, this package mandates the seamless inclusion of apology items. Flowers, maybe a specific meaningful gift, a heartfelt card. The architect handles getting these things there and presented perfectly at the right moment.
So the person apologizing doesn't have to awkwardly juggle a bouquet in their emotions.
Exactly. They remove that logistical burden, allowing the client to focus entirely on the emotional work of reconciliation. It shows how this service can be a tool for relationship repair, not just celebration.
Really powerful positioning.
Oh, hey.
Oh, next level up.
That would be the anniversary honeymoon package. This is the full-blown premium experience, maximum comfort, total romance, creating an immersive bubble.
Sounds luxurious. What kind of elements are we talking about?
Top tier everything. It often starts with luxury transport, maybe a limo, a high-end car service, so the couple arrives feeling pampered and relaxed. The meal itself is elevated, perhaps a private chef experience, a candlelight dinner in a unique, secluded spot.
Like a rooftop or something.
Could be. Or a private room in a historic building. And crucially, they often integrate a personal photographer, but subtly, capturing the moments without being intrusive.
And it extends beyond dinner.
Oh, yeah. The source mentions detailed, customized hotel room decoration. So the romantic atmosphere doesn't just end when they leave the restaurant, it continues, creating this total immersion.
Okay, and the absolute top tier, the ultimate package.
That's the proposal, described as the ultimate special experience. This requires the most intense collaboration with the client because it's about crafting that one perfect, unforgettable dream scene.
So the architect becomes almost like a movie producer here.
Very much so. They handle incredibly complex logistics. The source gives examples like orchestrating everything for a rooftop proposal, lighting, sound, timing, or finding and setting up the perfect spot on a secluded beach at sunset, or even transforming a private cinema for the big question.
Wow. The logistics for something like a beach proposal must be insane. Weather, access, vendors.
Exactly. You need lighting crews, maybe sound equipment, permits perhaps, catering staff, transport, and the absolute non-negotiable, a bulletproof plan B. If it suddenly pours rain, the architect needs an equally magical indoor alternative ready to go instantly without the client feeling any stress or even knowing there was a potential crisis. That level of contingency planning is why it commands a premium.
That makes sense. So these packages provide structure, but how do they keep it feeling unique and allow for, specific weird requests?
Through the flexibility of add-ons, this is how they allow for fine-tuning and ensure profitability even with deep customization.
What kind of add-ons did the source mention?
Things that reflect modern life. We already mentioned pet-friendly dates, huge for some couples.
Definitely.
Then there are things focused on shared activities, moving beyond just dinner, organizing private workshops for two pottery, maybe a cooking class, flower arranging, things that create memories actively.
Nice. More interactive.
And of course, all the atmospheric enhancers. Getting tickets for sought-after shows, booking live musicians, a specific violinist or saxophonist to play at the exact right moment. Total sensory control.
Okay, so the service itself is impressive, highly detailed. Let's pivot to the business side. How does this actually make money sustainably? A service this bespoke must have high costs.
It does. And that's why the business model needs to be robust. The Moment architect seems to rely on three main income streams that work together.
What's the first one?
The most straightforward, the planning fee. This is charged up front when a client engages them. It's typically scaled based on which package they choose or the overall complexity of the request.
Okay, that makes sense. Covers the initial heavy lifting, the consultation, the design work.
Exactly. It secures revenue early in the process to cover those significant time and labor costs involved in gathering all that emotional intelligence and crafting the initial blueprint.
Right. What's the second revenue stream? You mentioned it was key earlier.
Yes, this is arguably the financial engine, the partner commission. This comes from that vetted network we talked about.
Explain how that works, the win-win solution.
Because the Moment architect is consistently bringing high quality, often high spending, reliable customers to their network partners, the restaurants, hotels, florists, etc. Those partners pay the architect a commission for that business.
Ah, okay. So the partners get guaranteed quality customers without spending as much on general marketing.
Correct. And the architect gets a steady, relatively passive income stream that's directly linked to the volume and success of the dates they arrange. It aligns incentives nicely.
But does it? I mean, could there be a conflict of interest? Could the architect be tempted to recommend a venue that pays a higher commission, even if it's not perfect for the client's specific needs?
That's a really important question, and the source seems to anticipate it. The safeguard is supposed to be the integrity and the vetting of the network itself.
How so?
The idea is that partners only stay in the network if they consistently deliver flawless service and meet the architect's standards, confirmed by client feedback and performance metrics. If the architect sends a client somewhere suboptimal just for a higher commission and the experience suffers,
They damage their own reputation. The whole perfect memory promise falls apart.
precisely, the long-term value of their reputation for flawless execution and trust is theoretically worth more than a few extra commission points in the short term. The partners have to perform to stay in the system, which keeps the quality high and hopefully mitigates that conflict.
Okay, I see the logic. The network itself acts as a quality control mechanism against purely financial incentives. What's the third income source?
The third one is a markup on services.
Right.
This is more transactional.
Meaning?
When they arrange those complex proposals, for example, they're often booking dozens of third-party services, musicians, lighting techs, photographers, maybe sourcing specific rare items. They add a small, agreed-upon margin to the cost of these external services they procure on the client's behalf.
So they make a bit of profit on managing those transactions.
Yeah, it allows them to control the quality of those external vendors while also generating some revenue from the sheer volume of transactions involved in the more elaborate packages. Plus, it simplifies billing for the client.
Okay, so you've got the upfront fee, the ongoing commissions from the network, and the markup on procured services. Seems like a solid base. But why choose them? Why wouldn't a wealthy individual just use their PA or existing connections? What's the unique edge?
The sources point to four key competitive advantages. The first is that laser focus, niche expertise.
Right, they only do romance.
Exactly. Not corporate events, not general travel, just high-stakes romantic moments.
No.
This deep specialization allows them, theoretically, to develop much richer insights, more creativity, and a better handle on the tiny logistical details that matter for these specific situations compared to a generalist.
Okay, specialized knowledge. What's second?
The second is that risk protection. The curated network. We keep coming back to this, but it's fundamental. The client gets to skip the entire risky, time-consuming process of researching and vetting places themselves.
The architect has done the homework.
Exhaustively.
Right.
Every venue, every florist, every driver has supposedly been pre-screened for quality, privacy, and reliability. So when you hire them, you're essentially buying certainty. You're trusting their vetting process to deliver the best available option for your needs. That trust is incredibly valuable in the luxury space.
Makes sense. Third advantage.
Third is hyper-personalization. We touched on this with the packages, but the brand promise is that every single date feels unique, crafted, couple by couple.
But we also talked about scalability. Doesn't that level of customization create bottlenecks? How do they make that profitable without spending days planning every single date?
That's where the system design comes in. The consultation is deeply custom, yes, but the execution, the design phase, leverages those pre-vetted high-quality modules from their network.
Ah, so they're customizing the combination and the emotional context, but using reliable, pre-approved building blocks.
Exactly. They're not reinventing the wheel logistically every time. They're expertly assembling pre-certified components into a unique final product. The profitability comes from efficiently delivering these unique experiences using their streamlined, quality-assured network.
Lever. Custom narrative, standardized execution, and the final selling point.
The ultimate safety net. Immediate problem solving. If something goes wrong during the date, and unexpected things always can.
Like the transport breaks down or the venue has a sudden issue.
The architect's team jumps in immediately. They activate Plan B, Plan C, whatever is needed. They solve the problem, often without the client even realizing there was a potential disaster looming.
Wow, so you're buying insurance against chaos, essentially.
You're buying a logistical and emotional shield. That promise that they will handle any emergency smoothly and silently might be the single most compelling reason for someone to pay the premium. It guarantees the memory remains perfect no matter what.
Okay, the service design is elegant, the business model seems sound. How does this fit into the bigger picture? Where's the market opportunity?
Well, it plugs directly into a huge ongoing trend, the rise of the experience economy.
Right. People buying experiences over things.
Absolutely. It's a massive global shift. Consumers today, especially younger generations like millennials and Gen Z, who now have significant spending power, consistently say they'd rather spend money on creating unique memories than on acquiring more physical stuff.
And this business is literally selling curated, perfect memories.
Precisely. It's perfectly positioned to capture that desire for unique, shareable, high-quality life experiences. The demand isn't just there, it's growing rapidly as wealth increases globally and people seek specialized services to manage complexity and guarantee outcomes.
So it's sitting right at that intersection of luxury service, managing emotional risk, and this booming experience trend.
Exactly. But to really seize that opportunity, they need to scale effectively. The source material is clear about the strategic investments required for future growth.
What are the priorities? Where does the investment need to go?
First and foremost, technology. Specifically around customer data management.
So sophisticated CRM system.
Absolutely essential, and probably custom online platforms too. They need systems to efficiently manage all that detailed client preference data that's the engine driving the hyper-personalization. And they need to present their packages online in a way that feels as luxurious and exclusive as the service itself.
Makes sense. What else?
People. Building the right team. Scaling quality means scaling talent. They need to find and train more of these moment architects people who have that rare blend of deep emotional intelligence and meticulous logistical skill. They aren't just booking agents, they're creative problem solvers.
Right. The human element is critical for this kind of service.
Then marketing and branding. Because they're selling an intangible, a perfect memory, they need to be aggressive and highly visual in showing the results of their work.
So lots of stunning photos and videos on social media, Instagram, TikTok.
Exactly. Showcasing the flawless, beautiful outcomes is key. And collaborating with the right lifestyle influencers to quickly build brand awareness and position themselves as the authority in luxury romantic experiences. They need to become aspirational.
And finally,
Continuous investment in that vetted partner network. That network is their competitive advantage, their quality moat. Building and maintaining those relationships takes time and resources, ensuring they always have access to the best, most unique, most reliable partners. It secures their supply chain of perfection.
So when you put it all together,
The ultimate value proposition becomes really clear. The moment architect isn't selling dinner reservations or hotel rooms, they are selling perfect memories. And because those memories are, in many ways, priceless to the clients, they define milestones in their relationships, the business has the potential for sustainable, very profitable growth.
wow. Okay, that was a comprehensive look. A truly fascinating model, taking something deeply personal and, frankly, anxiety-inducing and turning it into a high-end, reliable service.
It really is a masterclass in identifying a specific pain point and designing a premium solution. The key takeaway for me is that transformation turning relationship stress into this bespoke, guaranteed luxury experience.
And showing how a smart business model, using things like network commissions and controlled personalization, can underpin it all. It's not just fluff, there's a solid structure.
Definitely. Quality control through the network, combined with that deep personalization, it's a clever setup for the experience economy.
But let's end with that provocative thought, tying back to the origin story you mentioned, the 16 years of observation.
Right. The idea that money stress often fuels family problems.
So here's the question for you to think about. If financial stress is a major relationship destabilizer, could spending significant money on a service like the Moment Architect, investing in a guaranteed, perfect, stress-free romantic memory, actually be seen not just as a luxury, but as a kind of preventative maintenance, a way to strengthen the relationship's emotional infrastructure, and maybe even save money or heartache down the line?
It certainly makes you think differently about budgeting, doesn't it? How much do we allocate to building emotional capital versus just financial capital? Something deep to mull over.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us on this really detailed exploration of what feels like a very modern, very clever business model. We hope you found it insightful.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it.
And if you did enjoy this kind of deep dive into business strategy and innovation, please do consider hitting that subscribe button. It really helps us out, and it means you won't miss our next exploration into critical business and knowledge insights.
We'll catch you on the next one.